on a day in August, just a couple of years ago, the news breaks that a young man is shot in one of the very communities that I mapped. I feel nothing. All around me is chaos, fire, rioting, pain, fear, suffering. I can't feel. Quantitative research is wonderful. You're trained to not have emotion. You're trained to just crank out the number. But I'm haunted. Why don't I feel? So I put my maps away, all the indicators and the data sets and everything. And I go to one passage in the Bible that really has been the driving question of all of my research. It's in Luke. Whether you've read a Bible or not, you've heard of Good Samaritans. And it's the parable related to the Good Samaritan. There are two important questions. The first one, asked by a lawyer, is what must I do to have eternal life? A second question emerges because he answers it. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, everything you got, just give it all. And love your neighbor as yourself. The lawyer seeking to justify himself says, but who is my neighbor? I'm going to tell you all, that's when I became a scholar. PhDs, master's degrees, whatever, because as I looked at the question again, not with maps, not with GIS, not with epidemiology, I had to ask myself, what is this question about? And why is this question, who is my neighbor, so important? And if you have a chance to just look at it, historically, that neighbor question had always been answered, that your neighbor is someone just like you. It was the context of a Jew asking a Jewish person. They had been taught, there's archaeological digs of it, that they had always answered that question, is someone just like you? And this radical parable and story unfolds where a Samaritan, a half-breed ethnic person, demonstrates truly the love of a neighbor. Because the neighbor, by definition, is someone you could do good for. There's two prevailing definitions. Someone who lives close to you and is like you, and someone who you can do good for and love. I realized all my research had been focused on the first definition. Who's near you? What are they like? What are the demographic characteristics? Everything. I could tell you everything about that community. But I had not explored my own feelings about who should I be loving? Who should I be doing good for? And what should be driving that? That's when I really became a scholar. That's when it became real to me. It might be hard to believe if you read anything I've done. But the fact of the matter is, I needed to love Michael Brown, not just document him. I needed to love the police officer, not just loathe him. I needed something different to do that. There was no academic book that was going to take me to that space. So you ask about solutions. I believe research provides us wonderful instrumental notions that we could apply in public policy. I feel as though I could wax eloquent with anyone about what those policies might look like. I'm good at spending other people's money. But you will not get to the point where you will even view that it's important to use the resources of this country to help your neighbor unless you value them and love them as humans. So I am hopeful. You asked me if God has to be a part of it. I tried it without it. I came up with pretty darn good solutions. But I think I fell short. And it's when I've tried to do it in another way where I seek wisdom, counsel, prayer, and a biblical frame that I think, for me, that's where the hope is.